Welcome to this video, which is a brief introduction to websites. So we're going to be looking at some of the reasons why individuals and businesses might choose to have a website. We're going to look at some of the advantages to having an online portfolio website, to having an e-commerce website, or just a simple landing page website. If you already feel quite familiar and comfortable with this topic, then please feel free to skip ahead to some of the more in-depth and advanced videos today. But if you're looking for a refresher, a recap, or maybe you're just getting started in your digital marketing journey and you really want to understand some of the fundamentals of why businesses and individuals choose to have their own website, then stick around. It's only going to be a short video. We're going to cover some of the key principles and reasons why people and individuals decide to have a website. So what are some of the main advantages? That's what we're going to look at first. So firstly, let's say increased visibility. I'm going to write down some of these so you can screenshot it and remember what we've covered here. So some of the advantages will be increased visibility. So more people can see you. How can more people see you? Well, we need web pages. Websites to be able to be ranked on Google searches and other search engines as well. So we can say increased visibility from sites such as Google. So let's imagine somebody types in a particular search term into Google. If you've optimized your website then to be ranking highly on search engines, then more people can find you easier on Google. We can also say that for businesses and individuals as well, it can increase, customers or clients or people's perception of you. So it can increase perception and therefore value. How do people perceive you? Imagine if you're an individual that's taking your career seriously and you decide to actually advance from just having a LinkedIn and Facebook profile, for instance, and that you actually set up your own online portfolio site. How professional is that going to make you look? So it's going to increase people's perception of you, therefore increasing value. The same can go for a lot of businesses as well. There are certain companies, especially business to business companies, but that's not exhaustive. It also goes to business to consumer companies as well, that there is a certain level of trust and professionalism that comes from that. So it can increase trust as well. So increase trust. Certainly when it comes to purchasing things online or contacting people online, there has to be a greater level of trust there than might otherwise be had when dealing with a business. For instance, if we're going to buy something and there is an online shop without a high street presence, for instance, then we can be a lot more cautious when it comes to time to actually enter our credit card details and purchase something. So if you actually have like a professional website, with legitimate reviews and links and referrals coming from across the web to your website, then it can certainly increase trust. You can obviously share your information on there, so this is another huge advantage to having a website. It is not bound by the same limits as what is had through like a social media page, for instance. So whereas a social media page is going to be quite limited in terms of what you can do, especially when it comes to the design and layout, your own website is really bound only by your own limits and imagination, really. So you can share whatever information you want on there as well, which is a huge reason for having a website. You can, increase revenue to your business. So increasing revenue is probably the reason why more people choose to have a website than any other reason. An increase in revenue. So a good website should not just be able to provide information. It should also be able to convert potential leads into either clients, customers, paying customers, or at the very least, should persuade to a degree more than can probably be achieved by other methods. So a great website really should be able to take somebody that is on the fence, not really quite sure whether they're going to actually buy from you, and actually convert them into becoming either more likely to pay or become a customer, or actually, convert them to becoming a customer. So it should really lead to an increase in revenue for a lot of businesses. It's not the sole reason, and it's certainly not applicable to every single business. Some companies don't want a website really for lead generation or sales purposes, but just more for internal communications, for instance. But quite often, and more often than not, a website is there to try and increase revenue. So this is something that we're going to look at in more advanced videos. How do you create a website that can help you increase revenue for your business? I know a lot of the people that are watching this video are likely going to be small business owners, so this is obviously something that will be applicable to yourself, but also for individuals as well. This is not just related to business owners. Imagine if you're an individual using your website as an online portfolio, for instance. Imagine that you're a graphic designer and you're looking to get some freelance clients. You're going to find it much easier, aren't you, to sell your services to a client with an online portfolio in the shape of a website, as opposed to one being a freelancer without a website. So we can see some of the main advantages, let's say, of having a website. So let's just recap. An increased visibility from sites such as Google, increase in perception and value, and increase in trust. It's a place to share information, and ultimately as well, for a lot of businesses and individuals, you want to be able to increase revenue as well. So these are just some of the main advantages of having a website. Just really quickly, what do you need to have to be able to set up a website? We're going to dive into this in more detail in the next video, if you want to watch that to find out more. But just for now, let's cover some of the basics. You need to have a website hosting service. You need to have a domain name. Let's say a domain name. If you're not sure what any of these are, then don't worry. The next video will cover it more extensively, so you'll be able to actually know what these are if you're not currently aware. And we need the website content as well. So this is quite often like a pre-built theme or something like that. So these are really the three essential things that you need to be able to build a website. Now, you've probably heard of the likes of Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. Well, Wix and Squarespace offer all of these out of the box. So it comes already with all of these three things. You just need to go in there and really design your website. But also you've got WordPress as well, and there's a couple of different ways to use WordPress, so don't go ahead and just set up a WordPress account, because the chances are you're going to do what a lot of people do, which is actually set up the WordPress all-inclusive WordPress.com platform, which is what we recommend against. We actually recommend doing it another way, which is what we're going to look at in the next video. So hopefully this video has introduced you to the idea of having a website. Maybe it's helped you realize why you might decide to go ahead and get a website. And in the future videos this week, we're actually going to be looking at websites in a lot more detail. If you've never set up a website before, then this week is definitely for you. We're going to show you exactly how you can develop and set up your own website in as little as a week. By Friday, you really can have your own website online. If you already have a website, then we're going to show you a lot of ways that you can actually go ahead and actually start improving the performance of your website as well.